Pie House. Well, some poor unfortunate but going to Sweeney Todd's for a haircut disappear through a trapdoor and reappear in a meat pie in Mrs. Lovett's Pie Shop. Today, the old Bank of England is known as the Ale and Pie House. They do very, very nice meat pies. Although I must admit they taste a little strange every now and again, but you do get used to them. We are in Fleet Street. This used to be the headquarters of the newspaper industry, but after a big fight with unions in the 1980s, they moved out. Only Reuters have a small office here now. So lovely old pubs down here though. The very first Irish pub to introduce Guinness into London is just on our right hand side. We're about to pass. They say it's a long way to Tipperary, but I can assure you it's not. It's just across the road there, Tipperary. Now on the left hand side, another lovely old pub, the Old Cheshire Cheese, little black fronted pub here. This goes back to the year 1667. The original pub was burned down in the Great Fire of London, but when it was rebuilt, Charles Dickens used to go in that pub, Mark Twain used to go in the pub, Oliver Goldsmith, who wrote The Vicar of Wakefield in his great play She Stoops to Conquer, Samuel Johnson, one of the greatest intellects of the 1700s, used to go in there with his biographer James Boswell. It's been wonderful to listen to the conversations in there. There are 8 bars and 2 very, very good restaurants. Downstairs in the basement, sort of get pie and mash, that sort of thing, but upstairs it's a very nice restaurant as well. The food is excellent wherever you go in that little pub. To our left hand side is the Old Bailey, this roadway. And if you look down the road on the left, on the top of the buildings, you'll see about halfway down a gold statue on a dome. That is the criminal court known as the Old Bailey, where people are tried for murder and terrorism. Such crimes. But straight ahead, this magnificent building is the masterpiece of Sir Christopher Wren. This is St Paul's Cathedral. Wonderful building. It took 35 years to complete, and this is our stop for St Paul's Cathedral. Thank you. Cost £11 to go in. Free tomorrow, Sunday. Thank you. Coming down. Bye now. Come back here. Make sure you've got all your possessions with you. Just double check. Okay, bye now. In the crypt, it's the largest crypt in Europe, and there are no kings or queens buried here, but buried in the crypt, Admiral Horatio Viscount Nelson, who helped defeat the fleets of Napoleon Bonaparte. From the centre of the dome, if you were to drop a line straight the way down into the crypt, he's directly under where that line would land. Duke of Wellington is buried there as well. He helped defeat the armies of Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo. Sir Christopher Wren himself has a very simple gravestone. About a year later his father wrote some words by the side of it which said, "If you want to see a monument to my father, just look around you." Wonderful monument. Well, here you can see the People's Queen outside, Queen Anne. She was the queen at the time of the completion of the building in 1710. But on the steps to the left, you may remember the People's Princess, Lady Diana Spencer, going up those steps with that beautiful wedding dress, the 25-foot train, 29th of July 1981. When she reappeared to the people, she was Diana, Princess of Wales, because she had just married the Prince of Wales. More people watched that wedding on television than any previously televised broadcast, apart from man landing on the moon. Around 1,000 million people watched the wedding of Prince Charles to Princess Diana. Sadly, some short 16 years later, millions upon millions watched her funeral. Well, we are in the City of London now. The City of London is only 1 square mile. And compared with the West End, it looks like a ghost town. You notice how much faster we're going along the roads so far. There's only around 7,000 people that live here. The City of London is a law to itself. It has its own police force, the City of London Police. It has its own mayor, the Lord Mayor of the City of London, considered to be the most powerful in this most powerful person in this country, next only to the monarch. This is not Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson is the Mayor of London. This is Nicholas Anstey. The Lord Mayors of the City of London are normally millionaires, but more often than not multi-millionaires. They represent London nationally and internationally. They're only mayor for 1 year, and they live at the Mansion House, which we'll pass a little later on. But it was 55 years before Jesus Christ was born that the Roman legions came here, led by their general Julius Caesar. He had a number of battles here. Some he won, some he lost. He went back to Rome where he was assassinated. But the Romans did not forget us. 43 years AD, under the direction of the Emperor Claudius, the Romans came back here, and this time they stayed for 400 years. This was a part of the Roman Empire. One of the greatest of all the Roman emperors came here, Hadrian. An amazing man. He was the one who had Hadrian's Wall built that went from Newcastle in the northeast right across the country to the other side of the land to join the sea there. It was the greatest stone structure ever known in all the history of the Roman Empire. It took 6 years to complete the building of it, and it consisted of 3 million tons of stone. It was his legionnaires that built it. The Romans are great builders, great road makers as well, as they are to this day. And if you look to your right, you'll see a gap in this green fence. And up the steps, we just see past the telephone box, see the little steps, at the top you see these bricks. This is a temple of Mithras. Inside those very bricks, nearly 2,000 years ago, Roman legionnaires worshipped Mithras, the Persian god of light. Thanks, Mo. There's a statue going towards the south of England of a Roman legionnaire with a standard in his left hand, the carved eagle on the top. Some very unusual words written there. They read, "In gratitude to our Roman conquerors, whom had they not conquered us, we would not have the civilization that we have today." Very unusual for a country to say thank you very much for conquering us and banging a bit of sense in our heads. They gave us a wonderful system of law. They gave us a monetary system. They built magnificent roadways linking all the major places in England to London, which they called Londinium. And it's from the word Londinium that we take London to this day. They gave us outstandingly beautiful architecture, but most of all they brought their culture, which was the Roman culture mixed with the Greek culture. We had it here for 400 years. So it's a very nice little statue. If you look straight ahead, you can see some of the Roman influence, the Corinthian columns of the old Royal Exchange. The second column from the left has the gold lettering Elizabeth over the top. It was Queen Elizabeth I back in the 1500s that gave the title Royal to the Exchange. What it was, merchants from all over the world would come and sell their goods to us here. Our merchants would sell our goods to them. There was a big mixture, exchange of business. It then turned into the stock exchange. It has since moved out. It's a rather expensive drinking area now. Fashion shops like Tiffany's are in there. If you'd like to buy a nice ring for £75,000, that's the place to go. On the right, this is the London home of the Lord Mayor of the City, over our right shoulder now, the Mansion House. To our left is the Bank of England. You'll notice there are no windows on the ground floor level of the Bank of England. If we were to turn this bus on its side, it would still not be as thick as those walls. Behind those walls we keep what is left of our gold reserves. But have a look to your right, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest city in the world, and yet two cars cannot pass each other down some of these streets. And that is all connected with the monument that you can see ahead of you on the skyline, slightly to the left. That is the monument to the Great Fire of London of the year 1666. You can see there's a cage on the top, and there's people in the cage. Well, they're not in prison or anything. They've walked up 311 steps to get up there. It only costs £3 to go in, so it's a lot cheaper than a health club. Now you notice the top of London. The gold section on the top represents the flames. You can see the smoke 50 miles away. We'll have another chance to glance at it a little later on. If you're not getting off at the Tower of London, we'll have another chance to see that. Is anybody getting off for the monument? No one coming down for this? No, thank you. That is Tower of London.